All right, so if you've ever watched any online podcasts or online talk shows or basically any online spoken word content, you've probably noticed that it has that kind of like radio, like deep, boomy, bassy, like just that radio voice sound. And a lot of streamers and content creators are trying to recreate this sound. So what we're going to do in this edition of the lab is talk about like the techniques and equipment that you need to get this effect and, basically how to have that quiet storm classic voice. So let's get into it. All right, so the first and most important thing is the placement of the microphone. You want the microphone to be as close to you as possible because that way it'll pick up more of your voice and less of the surrounding room. And a lot of microphones have what's known as a proximity effect. So basically, the closer you get to the microphone, the more like the lower tones are picked up. So if you really want that like bassy, boomy voice, you gotta get really close to the microphone. Anyway, another important thing is how you mount your microphone. So there's like this overhead kind of like, like shotgun boom mount that I'm using to keep the microphone out of frame. That's really good for certain types of mics like shotgun mics. Then there's the articulating arm. So that's something that you mount onto your desk. Really good if you don't have a lot of desk space. And that's what you see in a lot of like radio shows. And then there's just the classic desk stand. You mount the microphone on there. You have the desk space, just put it close to you, whatever fits your budget and whatever you have the space for. So I actually did a video comparing different types of microphones. You can check it out at the link above. But the most important thing of when you're picking a microphone, like so many microphones, you can get this effect that you want from it, but you need to pick the right microphone for your situation. There's no microphone that's gonna work like everywhere. So make sure you pick the one that is going to fit in your use case. Like if you're in a really noisy place, get a dynamic microphone. If you have like a well-treated, nice place and you don't want the microphone in your camera frame, get like a super cardioid or a shotgun mic like I have here. But for most people, and I think the most popular microphone for this whole podcasting setup is the Shure SM7B. It's a great microphone, doesn't pick up too much outside sound. You got to buy a couple accessories for it. Really nice audio quality, and also it really has that really nice proximity effect on it. If it's too pricey to pick that up, you can always get the Shure not the Shure SM7, but the Shure MV7. This is basically the same thing as the SM7B, which is why I almost gave it the same name. But pretty much you can connect this via USB and also through XLR. Really great microphone. Now, cheapest option, and it's the Shure party here, but the SM58, really great, solid beginner's microphone. I really enjoy it. It's nice. Concerts use it everywhere, but basically pick up what you can. I mean, if you're just starting out with your webcam mic, you're probably not gonna be able to do this, but yeah, just get a really good, solid microphone to start with. All right, so now that we have our nice microphone, we have a mount, we have it set up, we have it placed really close to us, we can add the final touches if you just want that little extra bit of energy or oomph in your voice. Now, I think a lot of people maybe go to this first, and I understand because there's usually so many free options for this, but really the first two are most important. Nothing's gonna magically make one mic sound like the other, but this is EQ and compression. So EQ, there's actually built-in DSP effects in XSplit Broadcaster, and there's an EQ in there. So EQ basically allows you to pick certain frequencies and raise or lower them. So if you want that bass boomy voice, now everyone's voice is different, but pretty much what you want to do is raise around the 100 to 200 frequency range, boost that up. And if you want like a bit more clarity in your voice, like again, everyone's different, like about 3,000 to 5,000 ish area. You have to kind of tweak it and listen to it and review it a lot, but you can get a bit more clarity in your voice. And just add a bit of compression as well. Compression basically takes the dynamic range and compresses it, so the lows and the highs kind of stay around the same place instead of going up and down like crazy. But this helps a bit as well, especially if you boost your voice after it. Make sure you get your levels correct. But again, these are just tweaks. Do not start with this and think that you're going to get the same results as you would without getting the proper mic or having the proper mic placement. Now, I know a lot of you are probably thinking, especially if you're professionals, like, well, what about like a hardware compressor or the EQ on a mixer? Well, there's really like too many things to cover, and I can't predict what your device does or doesn't have, but generally those tips are best. And honestly, the most important one is place your microphone properly. Like, don't have your microphone over here and your talking this way, like have it, your microphone all have like this polar pattern, right? And you want to have the polar pattern, you know, where your voice is. Super important. I cannot stress that enough. If you want this effect, place your microphone properly and as close to you as possible. Anyway, I want to know from you, like, what is your favorite microphone? Do you like really bass heavy sound, or you like really clear sound? And, you know, what's your dream microphone that you're hoping to get? Let me know in the comments. Give a like if this was helpful, and share the video as well. Be sure to subscribe for the next time that we jump into the lab.